Hey Aries, welcome to a no contact tarot reading where I have just finished showing and uploading for you guys the Love 12-month full year 2026 readings. Those are now available on my YouTube, so I wanted to take the time, now that I am done uploading 12 months worth for each horoscope sign, I wanted to take the time to get back to some of our more typical readings. Or rather, not more typical, because I only do these ones once in a while, but more requested. People request these a lot. Using a beautiful deck called the Orion's Animal Deck, which you guys have seen every once in a while. And I want to describe this for those of you who have a particular person in mind, and you have subsequently been wondering if they're going to contact you. This could be a partner that you're with that maybe you're not talking to, or someone you're separated from, or maybe you're in the friend zone and you're waiting on hearing from somebody. Let's get into it because this energy is beautiful. You just got the star, okay? I'm going to say first, before we get into that the Ten of Wands is here. The Ten of Wands is typically a situation that caused a very heavy burden. But much like the beaver energy here on this card, there's a lovely dynamic of being able to gather what is needed in times spent apart from somebody to build up the appropriate way of being, the appropriate versions of yourself in a relationship. That's why I like this beaver when it comes to the Ten of Wands. Typical Rider-Waite-Smith interpretation of the Ten of Wands is somebody who needs to put down a bunch of things. But the Ten of Wands historically also refers to those moments in time where you go back up. You go back to pick something up, essentially. Remember, in the Ten of Wands, the gentleman doesn't have to put down every single heavy wand that they're carrying. I wish I had a picture of the traditional tarot. It's somewhere here. Oh, it's right here. I do have my deck, my traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. The gentleman in the Ten of Wands, oh, perfect, right at the top. He doesn't have to put down all of these wands that he's carrying. It looks like such a heavy burden, but if he puts down only two of them, he only puts down a little bit, then he still can carry a whole bunch of them, and he can come back later and he can pick up the other two. And so for this reason, in your reading, I'm more prone to thinking that the Ten of Wands is showing itself because you have already gone through the phases of having the relationship put down, and you are going to go forward into the future of watching you or your person pick back up the relationship, because the Ten of Wands is in the upright position and it's sitting next to the Star card. That Star card in the middle is one of my favorite energies to be had next to the Ten of Wands, because what the Star card is about navigating your way back home, which means navigating somebody coming back to you to communicate. And it also is the card of wish fulfillment. Think Jiminy Cricket and Pinocchio. When he's singing, is it that movie? When he sings, "When you wish upon a star," that's the idea of the star. But in the reversal position, it has a tendency to have a person feeling very hopeless, which means it's likely your energy that feels like the situation is so void, an empty feeling, that there's a hopelessness where you're not thinking this person is going to contact you. But when the star is in the reversal position, it insinuates that your wish is actually going to become fulfilled. It's just likely going to hit you out of left field because it's attached to a sense of hopelessness. I also want to say that the Seven of Swords, I should actually grab that card too in the original tarot. This Seven of Swords here, that is a traditional ghosting card. And look at all of the swords or the knives. Doesn't it feel like you're in a situation where somebody just like cuts you like a knife, which can include dipping, getting out of the situation, not communicating, stonewalling. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Just give me a moment here. In this traditional tarot, if I can find it, the Seven of Swords is a depiction that mimics the exact energy of the Ten of Wands that we just spoke about. I love showing you this original deck, by the way, because you guys know I'm a fan of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And you guys also know that the depictions on this deck can really help you to visualize the interpretations of a given deck, especially when this deck is based off of the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it shows animals, so it might confuse some people, which is why I'm just going to take that moment here, and I'm going to show you how the Seven of Swords is mimicking the energy of the Ten of Wands. Essentially, the Seven of Swords, right here, I just found it, ha ha ha. Tell me this is not the exact energy that you just saw. The Seven of Swords is somebody who is picking up what they need and they are leaving the rest behind. Usually it's done with a more detestable energy, like somebody got out of Dodge really quickly, somebody left very abruptly, they potentially didn't leave the situation with kindness and smiles. You know, you and your person could have separated on a more immediate and friction-based note. Some of you may have experienced actual arguments, right? Whatever it was, this person, whoever it is, actually, you know what? I would say whoever it is that left probably had to build the courage up to do so and left quickly, but it just dawned on me that you've got both of them like this. I think that the reality is both of you guys have gone quiet on each other. And it's almost like a bit of a stalemate. One person picking up what they can, the other person picking up what they can. I just realized that the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Wands here, my intuition just started going at me. That this is likely a dynamic where both of you guys are mirroring each other. But what sits in the middle of the reading? Both of you guys are not only mirroring each other, but both of you guys are surrounding the wish to communicate with one another. One thing that I want to do here, well, in a moment, since I can see in these cards that you guys are going to communicate, I want to pull out some extra cards and I want to talk about what you're going to communicate about. But very quickly before I do that, I'm curious about the Seven of Swords here because it did show up originally in the reversal, if I'm not mistaken. At least my intuition is looking at it in the reversal position, and that card can mean troublesome communication, but it can also mean it's interesting. It can mean its exact opposite, good counsel, but usually in the form of good advice, like somebody is speaking to either you or your person and convincing them to lighten up a little bit. So I'm going to shuffle a card here, and I just want to see which one of those it is. Nine of Wands. I believe that if it's you or your other person, you'll know whoever it is that was really protective is like, because the Nine of Wands is the card of the Palisade. Historically, it is a depiction. On this card, it's a horse, but historically, it was a fortress that's being protected by those big pointy sticks in Middle Ages. In the Middle Ages, you know those castles that have big, gigantic, pokey sticks on the outside? That's a palisade. And the, if I'm using that word correctly, I'm pretty sure palisade is the word. Anyways, the fortress that's being protected is the energy of the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands in the reversal is, it's like somebody who's considering taking down their guard. But because the Seven of Swords in the reversal is somebody who's having like counsel or communicating some kind of advice with somebody, I think one of you might be experiencing a situation with some other person, and that other person is letting them know, either through words or through experience, that they don't have to have their walls protected up and guarded so much. Because it seems like in order to communicate, they have to tear those protective walls down a little bit. I also just noticed intuitively that the Nine of Wands is the card of the heavy burden on this side now. And the Ten of Wands is over here. Both of you guys are still kind of mirroring the energy of protection and heavy burdens. If I had another Ten of Wands in this deck, which I can't pull out because it's right here, my intuition says I bet you it would have come out right here. That I bet you the Nine of Wands is here to show that both people are mirroring each other's heavy burden and heavy walled protection energy. You're probably feeling very protective, not willing to necessarily quite yet get hurt again by communicating with this person, or feeling rejected, or having the situation go south, whichever one it is, and your other person is feeling the same way too. And I would say that it's because the Nine of Wands, especially in the reversal, is somebody who expects calamity. All right, let's see what you guys are going to talk about, since you've got the Star card in the center of the reading and you have to pull back all of these protective avenues of yourselves. The Star card insinuates you will hear from this individual. After you guys pull down the walls, though. All right, let's see what's going on. What will you communicate about? The Eight of Cups is the card of discussing why you walked away. The Chariot card is the card of discussing how you're going to move forward. I love it. The Chariot card is also the card of solving the problem. You guys are going to talk to each other about how to fix it. And the Wheel of Fortune means that when you do, luck and fortune are on your side. Chance is something that you can deal with. You can take a moment and gamble on this. This communication is not actually going to go as bad as you think. When the Wheel of Fortune appears, it is somebody who has the opportunity to go forward in life and spin the wheel. And I know it gets nervous to spin the Wheel of Fortune, you could metaphorically say, because you're afraid if the Wheel of Fortune or the Wheel of Fate and Destiny might land on something that you don't like. But in the upright position, it says do it. Because if you don't, you don't spin the wheel at all. You don't try. You know, there is no going forward and resolving the communication, resolving the riddles of the Chariot if you don't get up and try. Also, the Chariot is a supreme card of victory. Let's not forget that the Chariot is historically a depiction of an emperor who is riding home because he's already victorious. He's not riding home to gain his victory. He's already won. He's heading home. So it's a card of victory. What you guys are going to end up talking about is how to make this situation better. This isn't a dynamic of you with the Five of Wands and the Tower card that everything crumbles down when you guys talk to each other. By the way, for those of you who are coming to this reading, it doesn't have to just be about love and relationships. This could be about friendship dynamics, you know, family dynamics that you've not spoken to. This concept is talking about things that are close to the heart. We haven't necessarily brought up the Lover's card. For many of you, it will be. But I'm just putting it out there that this energy is showing up as a victory in what matters. And for some of you, what matters is a victory in family. For some of you, what matters is going to be a victory in friendship. And for others of you, it's going to be that victory in romance. So I really like that for you guys. You guys are in the clear, okay? It's all a matter of time. All you need to do typically is try to take the negative thoughts that you have in your mind, and when they show up, like say to yourself, oh shit, I'm doing it again. I'm thinking negative, you know, and like shake your head off and go wash the dishes or something. Because your Star card insinuates you're going to feel hopeless about it. So you're going to need to tackle that, because in the end here, you don't actually have anything to be hopeless about. You just think you do. Is the dynamic here. That's really the dynamic. You guys are kind of protectively barriering yourself, holding your walls up, and it's causing more time that you don't talk to each other. So, my best wishes to you. Thank you for joining me here. And like I said, Aries, if you are doing this reading for love, you do have a complete Aries yearly love reading that's already available. It's general readings, right? What do they call them? Collective readings. And if you're not interested in a full year's interpretation, all of my other free love readings and free career readings, those are all up already on my TikTok. So you can feel free to join me over there. Also, if you'd like a private reading just like this kind of a private reading is $20. That's it. 2 questions you can have for $20, and the same day that you put an order through is the exact same day that I send you back the readings, because I can record a nice 2-question reading just like this fairly easily around my kids. I just kind of put them to eat a peanut butter sandwich, you know, or situate them with their toys, and then I can get this done. So thank you for joining me here. I'm going to get the Taurus reading now done, and then I'm probably going to see a few of you guys over there on Facebook, where you can always join me too, just to hang out and chat. My personal Facebook, by the way. I'm the only Linny D with green hair in her profile picture, so I'm really easy to find if you ever want to send me a friend request. All right, talk to you guys later. Ciao for now.